Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome in. How are we all doing today? It is so good to see everyone. I know. I haven't been on for a while, but there's been things and stuff that has happened, like being sick, having to get a tooth extracted, and then it, for whatever reason, being infected, and it just took forever for it to heal. It's still healing, and so I haven't been live, but I'm here today. I'm on. We're gonna test my computer because it has been acting up with OBS and everything. So we're playing a survival game that's on early access. So if you guys actually want to buy the game, it's $25. It's early access, but we're playing the free demo. So that's what we're doing today. We're gonna play the free demo, and then we're going to just I don't know. I started to like really start watching survival games and all that on YouTube, and I was like, you know what? I want to play some survival games. So we're doing that today as we test the computer. But first, we're gonna do what we always do. We're gonna get right into doing the devotional, and we got Moses in here with the furs. Let's go, Moses. Yes, the game is called the Gold River Project. I'm super excited. I want to play the full access, but like I said, it's $25 and I just wanted to test it out. So today we're playing the demo. I am working, but wanted to stop in and say hi, and I love you, Pokey. Moses, it's so good to see you. Have a good day at work. Love you too. Um, Andrew, welcome in. Howdy, or shall I say meowdy? Let's go. Who's excited, you guys? I'm excited. I'm excited about this game. Also, Chick-fil-A. I could eat there 7 times a day. Where the people laugh and children play. Oh, I'm in love with Chick-fil-A. Guys, this mic is driving me crazy. I think it might be this. I think this is the issue. Okie dokie. Let's go ahead and do our Devo time. Okay. Let me turn down the music because you know I can't concentrate. So today I felt led to do a Bible study on God is near to the brokenhearted. So we're going to be in Psalm 34:18, and it says that God it teaches that God draws close to those who are hurting, offering rescue, comfort, and his steady presence. This verse appears throughout scripture as a repeated promise of God's tenderness towards the pain. So this is the verse. I'm gonna post it in the comments for you to read with me. And it says, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Psalm 34:18. So brokenhearted in Hebrew carries the idea of something shattered, deep grief, or emotional collapse. God's nearness is not symbolic, it reflects his active compassion and readiness to support and restore you. So, what this reveals about God's character. God is compassionate. He does not stand far off when we suffer. He's always near. Scripture repeatedly affirms his closeness in pain. So God rescues and he restores. The verse doesn't only say he is near, it says he saves those who are crushed in spirit. His nearness has purpose. And God understands human sorrow. This theme echoes Isaiah 61:1, where the Messiah is described as the one who binds up the brokenhearted, showing God's heart for healing. God understands human sorrow. He literally sent his one and only Son, Jesus, to come to the earth to experience what we've experienced, you know? So, like, he understands. He is a God who understands us. So, number three, why this promise matters in real life. So pain can make God feel distance. Suffering often brings loneliness, confusion, or spiritual numbness. Yet scripture insists that God is closest right there, not after the pain, but in it, through the storm. God's presence is not based on our feelings. So Even when we don't feel him, his nearness is a truth that we can hold on to. This verse gives permission to be honest. God does not ask us to hide our brokenness. He meets us in it. Be honest with him. He's your best friend. Talk to him like you talk to your if you have a person in your life that you feel like is your best friend, talk to the Lord like you talk to your best friend. So, here are some other scriptures that you guys can look into. We have Psalm 147:3, he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Isaiah 43:2, he walks with us through deep waters and fire. Isaiah 61:1, the Messiah binds up the brokenhearted. And Psalm 56:8, he keeps track of every sorrow. So, here are some questions for you to just think about today as we close our devotional. When have you felt brokenhearted or crushed in spirit? Think on that today. Number 2, what does God's nearness look like in those moments when you're feeling brokenhearted, when you're having a hard time, when you're dealing with something? What does God's nearness look like in those moments? Number 3, which supporting verse speaks most to you right now? So, any verse that lifts you up and helps you in this moment when you're feeling brokenhearted, when you're feeling crushed in spirit, what supporting verse speaks most to you? And then the last question that you can um, really take in and reflect on is, how can you remind yourself or someone else of God's closeness during the hard seasons? Ooh. So, what encouragement can you give to someone else who is having a hard season, who is being brokenhearted or crushed in spirit? So, think on those things today. So, here's a closing encouragement. God's nearness to the brokenhearted is not a metaphor, it is a promise. He is not waiting for you to get it together. He draws close because you are hurting, not in spite of it. If you'd like, and you know someone who's hurting, or you are hurting yourself, I would love to pray for you. So feel free to put it in the comments, or you can go onto our Discord. Oh, we can go onto the Discord. I'm gonna post the Discord. We have a prayer request section. We have prayer warriors who will pray for you, including me. So if you ever have a prayer request, feel free to go put it in there. Join the Discord. Guys, we have movies all the time. We have gaming nights. It's so fun, and we'd love to see you there. Hey, thank you for the lurk, Cell. So Andrew says Philippians 4:13 is his go-to verse when he's heartbroken. Ooh, that's a good verse. Amen. Yes, yes. Okay, let's go ahead and pray, and then we'll go ahead and get into the greetings. Let's go. Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much, Lord. Just prepare our hearts, Lord. If we or someone we know is experiencing brokenheartedness, Lord, and a crushed spirit, please, Lord, just let them know that you are near, Lord. Give them that comfort that they need during this time, Lord. Let us look towards you. Sometimes when we feel hurt, we try to sometimes stay away from you, Lord. But, Lord, I just pray that we can come to you during those times, Lord. That we can look towards you and know that you are near, that you will comfort us. And we thank you for that, Lord. We thank you that you are such a loving God, that you comfort us, Lord, that you're always near, Lord. We love you so much. We just pray for today, Lord. We just ask that you will heal those who need healing. If anyone is dealing with anything, whether it's their health or being sick, Lord, just heal them during this moment. Keep those who are cold warm during this time, Lord, as we have more winter here. And we just ask for anyone who's dealing with anything else, whether it's finances or work or whatever they need, Lord. We know that you will provide for their needs because they love you. So we just glorify you. We lift your name on high. And we love you, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Oh my goodness. This is going to drive me crazy. I literally just bought this not too long ago, and it's not working. Okay, dokie, you guys, let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, this is a new game we're playing. It's a survival game. I'm excited. I want to get the full version from what I've seen. I think it's going to be good. It's on early access, but we're playing the free demo today. Like I said, if you want to play the demo, it's free. If you want to buy early access, it is $25. So be aware of that. But I say it's worth it. So let's go ahead and shut up here. Okay. We are playing the Gold River Project. Let's go. Um, you can actually play this co-op. You can play this with other people, which is kind of cool. I'm interested to see how this goes. But like I said, today we're just trying it out. We're gonna play alone. We are alone in this. Gold River Outfitters. Hey, microbe with the six bones. Looks scary for. What do you mean it looks scary for me? It's a survival game. I'm so excited. Don't say it looks scary for me, microbe. Guess what? You're gonna be our first person on here. How does that make you feel, microbe? So I can find one that works. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. There you go, microbe. Thank you, sir. Guys, look at. We did that for December. Hello. I've been playing a lot of American Truck Simulator. Ooh, that's something. Alone, new game. Oops, I didn't know I had. I can pick my character. Can I be a girl? I can be a girl. Who do I want to be? She looks kind of cool. I might go back to her. Okay, I think we're gonna be her. She looks kind of cool. She looks like she could survive, you know? I can't fit it up there. This is not gonna work. Okay, it's gonna go over here. Let's go, me. Minecraft, you can play this with friends. I know this is just a demo. The actual game is $25, you guys, but if you enjoy it, we could actually play co-op, which is pretty cool. Oh my goodness, there's surveillance cameras. What does that mean? It's the Gold River Project. The trip of a lifetime. Prepare for the next season by collecting warm clothing. Guys, that means it's gonna get colder seasons. Stop, Mike Rob. That's a crazy comment. I'm not even gonna say. I was about to say that out loud, sir. Guys, look at my shirt. It says, Jesus loves you. Because he does. Why is it taking forever to load? Guys, I was trying to play and fix my computer yesterday and play Fortnite, and it keeps on crashing. Every time I'm playing mid-game, it just crashes and sends an error. I added some thingy, I uninstalled it, so later tonight I'm going to try to reinstall it and see if I can get it to work. But it's still not working. Is that a plane? Finalizing shaders and textures. Building the world. Hello? Which car is mine? Is that my car right there? Locked door. Fishing day trips. You can stop forest fires. This looks scary. What do you mean it looks scary for me? I'm so excited to play it. Looks like The Walking Dead just by the river. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Look, there's river raftings. I would rather be camping. Zip line adventures. She flies with her own wings. Wait, how do I get my my pack? Use space. Oh, space is jumping. Enter. Tag. Okay, tab. Look, I got red hiking shoes +2 warmth. I got brown cargo shorts, which is +2 warmth, and I got a flannel flannel shirt +6. Ooh, okay. We got inventory, note, inspect. Can I? Hello, guests. Welcome to Gold River. Unfortunately, we have been called out to help fight a small brush fire. All of your supplies will be waiting at the Eagle Ridge campground. Once you and your party are ready, press the deport button on the digital waiver. I have to sign a waiver? What is this? And we'll get you on your way. We hope you have an amazing time. Apologies for our absence. Have a great trip and see you on the way back. S. Gold River Adventures. Okay, so we got crafting. Basic crafting table. We got a bed. A bone hook. Does that mean we're gonna find bones? Maybe you win by going down to the river to pray. It reminds you of that? I mean, I actually really wanted to play the Walking Dead story game. I just haven't yet. Cause I have a hard time making decisions on the spot. Okay? Campfire. Crafted backpack. Crafting bandage. Rope, sticks, torch, repair document. Okay, we got health. Why do I have 0 health? And a journal. With the thing. Okay. I'm guessing this is the only way to go. Ooh. Look how cool it looks like we're at Bass Pro Shops. Look at the cute little campfire. And look at the little tent. Woman. What is Woman? Electric? Is Woman an electric company? Woman. Woman. We can cook things? And we got cool boats. We're gonna be able to have hatchets. Oh, I bet these items are things that you're actually gonna get in the game. Oh my goodness, wouldn't that be crazy if that was in the game? And you can like float down the river. Oh my goodness, the fire crackles! I love it! Look how big it is! Right. Please don't tell me there's actual bear. Or no, wait, that looks like a deer. Many women don't find fishing exciting. I love fishing. I wish more women would got that excited about. Oh my goodness, I almost wore my Bass Pro Shop hat, but I decided to wear the goat hat. But I have it over there with my other hats. All my hats. I got lots of hats. Books, kayaks. Oh my goodness! Imagine if we can wear. Oh, if we can drive one of these. Okay. So they're not here. So what is this? Oh, it's just that the part. What is this? Whoa! Is that the map? That's a big map, you guys. Look, we can be on an island. And there's bridges. Wow. What did he say? Inspect. Gold River Eagle Ridge Campground. I can zoom in. Explore. Welcome where adventure begins. Welcome, adventurer. Located in the Gold River region of the Pacific Northwest, Eagle Ridge Campgrounds is nestled comfortably near all nature has to offer year round. Accessible only by, I just bit my tongue. Accessible only by boat or seaplane, there is no better way to escape the hustle and noise of everyday life. Grab your sleeping bags and enjoy a truly off the grid experience. Press R? How did you know that? Read R. Guys, did I tell you I cannot think at all today? I've been messing up so much. Um, Okay, accommodation. Camping supplies will be available to you upon arrival. When you reach the campground, a pack with the basics will be waiting for you. Our gift to you. Aww. Site features and activities. You got hiking, swimming, fishing, kayaking, wildlife viewing, and just relaxing by the campfire. Eagle Ridge Camp. Oh my goodness! Look at that! That looks so fun! Okay, what's the other one? Red lamp, guaranteed dependable, and a hatchet. This summer brought to you by the red lamp. Guys, do I get a cool red lamp? Wait, does that mean I have two in my inventory and I just need one? Drop. Yes. Oh my goodness, I'm invisible! Okay. Depart. Can I jump up here? Restricted area. Do not enter. I don't even know if I'm allowed back here. Why can't I have a walkie-talkie? Why can't I have that hat? Okay, let's go. We're gonna be here all day, guys. Just me enjoy. I'm not even there yet. I'm heading to the destination. Let's go. I'm so excited. Oh my goodness! Goodbye. Let's watch him fly away. Would you like to start the tutorial? Start tutorial field. Pass on it this time. Wait, I want to watch him leave first before I start a tutorial. Bye. See you later. I'll see you next week. Hopefully. I mean, this is a survival game. What if he crashes or something bad happens? Oh, I didn't see him crash, so I think he's okay. That was my ride! Did you guys see that? The plane crashed! Well, that's why this is a survival game, I guess. Start tutorial Y. Welcome to the Gold River. Follow the trail to Eagle Ridge Campground. Man, wait, I want to go find the plane. What if the person survived and they can help me get out of here? Danger. You gotta swim back home? I think that's a very long, way, away, you know. Unsafe water. Boil before use? Ooh. Okay, so I'm collecting sticks and rocks. What does this say? Eagle Ridge Campground, that way. Okay, but there's a place up here first. Look, there's a cabin. They said that there was stuff at the cabin, right? You know, ooh, what's this? Save the game. Save game. New save. We're gonna call it First Timer. Because this is the first time. Your game has been saved. Okay. See smart. Uh, escape menu. Resume. Okay, we saved the game. This looks lovely. Look at this. Open. Wow. Looks like someone was just here. They literally left their coffee and their broken glass. Interact. You can camp in the fire. Get you a life straw. Oh, right? Yeah. Life straw. That's what you can make clean water. That's what we need is clean water, but we need a contaminated bottle. Cooked fish, cooked meat, and peppermint tea, and then probably sticks to ignite it. But I don't have no rope. Cloth. Okay, so do I need these? Drop. I don't need those. I don't need those. Anything else? Didn't they say I get a thing? Oh, at Eagle Ridge, right? Wait, does that mean I just took those person's stuff in their thing? F, F, F. Okay, let's go to, they said Eagle Ridge, which is this way. Whee! Okay, hold up a minute. on cinematic. What does... I feel like that could be medium, and this could be whatever. Is that better looking? I feel like that's better looking. It was looking really weird on cinematic, whatever it had it on, so I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna change it. I feel like I should be picking up more rocks and stuff. Like, I want to be prepared, you know? Whoa. I feel like walking fast makes it all weird. What's this? Eagle Ridge Campground. 7 sites available. Yay! Guys, are we ready to go camping? More sticks. F. F. Why is there a... Is that a backpack? Why is there a backpack in a tree? Don't get attacked by bears and watch out for mosquitoes. Something went wrong. Find what supplies you can. Frying pan, water bottle, guidebook, etc. What do you mean something went wrong? I'm gonna come back to you. I wonder if you can throw a rock at it or something. Sticks? It says something went wrong. There's fire. Well, there's definitely not 7 sites anymore. I don't see no tents anywhere. The fire's out. Ooh. Frying pan! Wait. I need wait, can I put this in here? I need a backpack. Do I need to hit that backpack? Oh no, the red lamp. Okay, let's look around first. There has to be a backpack somewhere. I don't know if you can get to that one, so let's see here. Oh no, it's like a bear attacked the place or something. Bushcraft manual. Learn? Inspect. Lean to bed. Ooh, survival guide. Learn? Oh, now I can make a campfire. Wow. Okay, cool. Okay. Arrows. Did you hear the whistles? Did you hear the whistles? Hi, Julie. I feel like I'm playing I feel like I'm playing yeah, Minecraft. I feel like I'm playing what kind of game is that? Oh man. Okay. Yeah, just adorable at a campground. It's all, you know, been attacked and ooh, what's this? There's a tent in the water. Wait, it said we can go swimming. Can I go swimming in the water? Unsafe water, boil before use. That means I can still go swimming in it though, right? Ooh, a note. Oh, I can't pack it yet. Wait, let's go see what's in the tent. Whee! Ooh, wait. What is that? I got a backpack! Is there... Can I, like... There's a fish in the tent. Day backpack. This backpack is perfect for a day backpack with 20L capacity. 20L capacity. Oh wait, there is a fish in the backpack. I got a fish. Wow. Okay, well, I have backpack now, which means I can get things and stuff for survival. Drink. Wait, one F. Okay, well, I refilled one. Oh yeah, the note. Let's go read the note. Inspect. Note to Henry. R. For Henry. Henry, I came back to the beginning. If you left a clue, I don't see it. Ella and I have left the lake and set up a small field by the shore southeast of here. We found a shack on the side of the road that shines a light on this place, and it's not good. Follow the white tail trail to the end. There you will see a dirt road. Take a right and follow it. Stay safe and leave a clue where you are. Miss you. Love you. Okay. So it says, follow the white tail trail to the end. There you will see a dirt road. Take a right and follow it. Okie let's get our supplies. I also want to see if I can knock down the backpack up there and see if it's better than the one I'm wearing right now. Or can you double backpack? Oh, we need to do more water too. We got contaminated water. We don't need it. I don't think any more of those. It's probably the same thing. Um, have backpack. We'll travel. Okay. There was one over here. No, over here. Okay. We're gonna have to organize this. Hold on. Journal. To Henry. Oh, wait. Does that mean I can drop this and it's still there? Yay! Okay, so I don't have to waste my camp stuff. That's nice. 20 L capacity. 20 L capacity. Okay. Okay, I think that's it there. I got a frying pan! Guys, we can cook my fish now. And before I get too far, I want to make sure I fill all the water. I don't think we need more than one, why can't that move? Okay, whatever. Do I need another cooking pan? I think I'll be okay with one, right? Okay. Um, where's the one that had the, is it up here? Can I not, can I throw rocks? Is that possible? You see there's a backpack right there. If it's bigger than this one, then we'll have even more space. But I don't know if you can throw a rock. Okay, 3. Oh! Okay, you can't throw a rock. I'm really bad at throwing rocks. I don't know how you decide. It's hard for me to not collect all of the loot to ever exist. I mean, okay, so how big is this backpack? F? A day pack. Day pack. F? Hold up. Um, um, drop? No? Can I not pick that up either? Okay, well, I guess I have a backpack, so. Next task. Craft a backpack. Why do I need to craft a backpack? I already have one. What in the world? Question regarding the stream title. Yes. Ooh. Eagle Ridge Campground. Missing Kia Chow. Aurora Sage, please come home. Trust No one. Wouldn't Llama's cousin also be your cousin? Probably. They are trying to unalive you. What do you mean? Who? Who's trying to unalive me? What do you mean? Oh, okay. F. 5. F. 6. F. Okay, it says craft a backpack. But I have a backpack. I don't need another backpack, do I? Can you put things in the other backpack? Okay. Crafting. Crafted backpack. Craft. Dropped on the ground. Gather 5 sticks and 5 rocks from the ground. Oh, I've been doing that this whole time. Okay, apparently I can't. Ma'am, if it says to grab the backpack, do so before you forget, and we play the whole game without a glider. Okay, but I already have a backpack. I feel like I got a backpack before I crafted a backpack. Does that make sense? Like I already have a backpack, so I'm good. It just told me to craft it, it didn't say to attach it. I have a better backpack than that thing. This holds 20L. It's telling me to find a location to set up camp and craft a campfire. Oh, so I can burn the water and make it not contaminated no more. The campfire is the hub of the campfire. All structures are to be placed inside the ring. Find a location to set up camp and craft a campfire. Okay, well, I'm definitely not crafting it here because that's dangerous. Let's go. The lady on the note said Whitehead Trail, so let's go look for Whitehead Trail. And in case things happen, I have like 3 backpacks here, so I'm pretty sure I can come back and get it. I'm hungry. Well, don't you worry. I got just the fish to cook. Um, we just gotta make a campfire, so we gotta find a place, okay? So just you wait. Just you wait. Okay, let's go. Oh, there's a sign. What does this say? Whitehead Trail. Okay, so we go this way. It said go till you get to Dirt Road. Go till Dirt Road and then take a right. Dirt Road, take right. Dirt Road, take right. Dirt Road, take right. Right. Dirt Road, take right. Dirt Road, take right. Dirt Road, take right. Yes. Happy. Dirt Road. Oh, look, a cabin. Look how pretty the lake is. Doesn't that look like that one game, Plants vs. Zombies? Doesn't that look like a Plants vs. Zombies guy head? Anyway, okay. How about some Pokemon anyone's ever heard of? You've never heard of a Chinchou? 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 Guys, it's getting dark. Ah! Why is there a camera? Let's ignore the camera and go into a dark room, shall we? Bandage. That will be helpful. Box of nails. I'm sure that will be helpful at some point. Is there anything else? Ooh. F. 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 Ignite. I can make stuff here? Ooh. I'm cooking. Cooking can now yield double. You're no longer an idiot sandwich. Well, I don't want to douse it yet because what if F, 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 F. Oh, go away. I'm gonna get my drink. F, 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 F. I don't know what that I just got. What did I just get? It's too dark in here. Water bottle. Drink. Oh my goodness, you can see me getting water. Make sure you save enough stuff to make after you set up camp in case there's a quest up. Yeah. Eat. Yummy. Eat. Oh, you can learn stuff. Learn? Learn. Hold. Attach. I tried doing that earlier. Learn. Okay. Well, I think we're good, right? Antibiotics blister pack with 1 pill left. This pill will cure sickness caused by drinking contaminated water. Ibuprofen. A sleeping bag. A hat! Ooh. Plus 2 warm. Okay. I gotta move stuff around. Because I want that. Sleeping bag. Okay. See how the character in the game has to eat to survive? Have you eaten today? Yeah, I ate. Chick-fil-A! Okay, let's go. I had to get a CT scan today, so I was already at the doctors, and my mom got me Chick-fil-A. White head trail. In memory of Glenn Franklin. Aww. Wait. Ooh. +5 hunger. Yay! You can't go on a trail run if you're not eating food, you know? I love how it's called Chick-fil-A because they sell chicken fillets. Yep, gotta save the cows. Crafting. Ooh. Yep. Okay. Well, it says follow right head trail. And then it says something about a road and make a right. Road make right. Road make right. Road make right. Go till you find road make right. Road make right. Road make right. Road make right. Right head Whitehead Trail road make right. Campground. Oh. Where's the camp at? Is this a camp? Whoa. Do I make a camp here? R. Um, follow the right head trail to the end. There you will see a dirt road. Take a right and follow it. Left of the lake and set up in a small field by the shore southeast of here. I don't know if there's a shore here. I love that. Yeah. Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A. I could eat there 7 times a day. Where the people laugh and children play. Okay, this looks like a road to me. Left, Charlie. Right. It's gonna take a right. Right. I hope this is a road. What's this? God can't save you. Well, then you don't know my God. I think he was already on the road. No, I was on a trail. There's a difference over road and trail. You are here. Whitehead Trail Campsite. Lake. Eagle Ridge Campsite. River. Fire Watchtower. Gated. There's a gated place? Have you seen Luca? Missing. Gray. Brown. think I want white ones now. A cooler! Oh, you can add stuff in here. Hold up. Hold up, wait a minute. Can I put my water bottles I'm not using in here? And then maybe my berries. Oh, I got a cooler now. That's pretty cool. Okay. Bread. Learn. Learn. I got a lot of sticks. Controls the wall. Guarded. Need a key card. Powers the wall. Figure out how to shut this down. Secondary override on the exterior. Hackable? Question mark. Tower. Woman. These people are going to unalive us. Missing. They're not missing. Maybe they were one of the ones who didn't make it at the campsite. Oh, so sad. Wait. Steve was following up on a story he heard. My foot's asleep. Steve was following up on a story he heard about a electronic crafting bench. Supposedly, you can make all sorts of device with the right supplies. Keep an eye out. Search everywhere. The quarry. What's the quarry? Dropped on the ground? What do you mean dropped on the ground? One? Ooh. I need a place to stay. It's getting dark. I don't like it. Ooh. Furry is the second game by the makes of Until Dawn? Oh. A Drifloon appeared. A Drifloon. Hydrate 18 minutes ago. Oops, I have filled about that. At least it's pretty. Look at that. Oh no! I'm sorry, my friend. Thank you for the hydrate, Andrew. I appreciate it. Amen. Amen, Microb. Exactly. God always saves. Right. White pants in the woods. What could possibly go wrong? Moses still winning? Yeah. No one's really been sending gifts through the comments and I haven't been live. So. He's winning only by like 600 points. I think 650 points. 650 coins. I haven't been live because I haven't been feeling well at all. So I've had a few people being like, "Oh, I'll do it," and then they haven't. Camp Sunshine. Maybe I can stay here. Sleeping bag. Scrap metal. Blue bucket hat. Oh my goodness. I'm getting a better hat. Batteries. Always need batteries. Why do I hear a goat? Look, I'm wearing a goat hat. The goat. Go down this trail. I need a better campsite to stay in. I want to sleep. I need a tent. Where's the tent at? Lodge? Cabins. Lodge. Let's go to the lodge. That sounds good. I might have to take a break here, guys. I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta save the game. How can I save the game? Hello? Okay, we're gonna see these in the morning. I need the lodge. This looks like a big building. Is this the building that I need? No, that's the same place. Where's the lodge is at? The lodge. It says the lodge. I went the opposite direction. Lodge. Camp key. I need a key, of course. You know what? This looks nice. I'm gonna set up camp right here. I do not like that sound though. Crafting. Campfire. Craft. Dropped. Place. Hello? Why do I hear it? A yell. Please tell me that's a bird. Now that you're alive again, gonna have to get some story on Palia done this week unless we just take a break from that. No, I will. I'm definitely gonna do that. I'm trying to test my computer and see if it will even work at the moment. So that's what I'm doing. Place your campfire and bed flat on the ground. What in the world is that sound? Save game. F. Save. Save. Okay. Interact. F. Well, now, yeah, okay. Ignite. What in the world is that sound? It's driving me crazy. It has to be a bird. It's me, Mario. Nice work. Now you have basic survival skills. Now you have a home base. Can I put things somewhere, you know? Like, I feel like this should be down here. Does it have to be in here first and then in here? Five. No? Okay. I want to put some of my sticks and stuff in here. Because I have a lot. I don't think I need this much stuff. Okay. So, now I can reorganize this better. Um, I'm gonna put this and this here. Shorts. What is this? Open. Equip. Open. Oh my goodness! Farmer's pouch. Wow. For all my farming needs. Okay. I can't attach this. I feel like you should be able to attach it to your... Okay. It's getting daytime, right? So let's save the game one more time. F. Save. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna be right back, you guys. I gotta go to the bathroom, and then we'll continue. I'm liking the game so far, but yeah. We haven't done much. There we go. I'll be back. I'm back. Okay. I'm back. Are you back? Okay. Let us resume. Okay, it is daytime, so let's look at these buildings. It said there's a lodge. Wait. Where's the first one? First one was over here. So let's go this way and go down. Um, Camp Master Key. Uh, yeah, I would say that's locked. Okay, so my guess is all of these are gonna be locked. Barred and closed. Can't even get in that building. Rare Thai sighting. Well, hello, Ty. Welcome in. Hello, sir. Closed again! Camp Master Key. Can't master key. Locked. Definitely can't get through there. I'm on a roof. What was that? Art. Who learned? A recipe learned. Rainwater harvester. Where's that? Basic crafting bench. Learn recipes by selecting the learn option. Huh. Well, we gotta figure out how to make a whatchamacallit. Locked. So we need a master key. I'm guessing we're gonna find a master key somewhere. Ooh! This is what I was trying to find last night, but it was too dark. There has to be some good stuff in there, right? Wait, can I move my stuff into here? It's dark. Which can be refined. Ooh. Why do I need... I don't think I need those at the moment. Like, what am I going to use those for? 8:54 in the morning? Upstairs? How big is this? Oh, it's the same as that. This is medical, so I can put all my medical stuff in here. Let's put all... Yeah, let's put all my medical stuff in here. Maybe I don't need this. Detach. Equip. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. But I think doctor's pouch is more important than a farmer's pouch, right? Why can't I put this here? Okay, I want to put more sticks in here. And more of that. Oh, farmers, so I'm gonna put food in there. We don't need to learn any of those. Torch. I have that. Um, okay. Um, Open. Put in. I can't put a farmer's pouch thing. Can I open the doctor's pouch and put food in? Can I put it in there? Okay, I can put it in the cooler apparently. Okay, well, there. Whatever. It is what it is. Okay, so we have that. We have a doctor's pouch. We have stuff on our body that for food and stuff. We have the cooler that has stuff. We probably need a drink. So let's drink this. We need to survive. Okay. I think we're good right now. What else is there? Anything else? F. Equip. Equip. Detach. Equip. So what's better? What is this? Detach. Equip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's the same as a fishing pole. Can I put the fishing pole in there? No? Okay. Okay. I'm already running out of space, you guys. Isn't there something else I can get? There has to be something else I can get that will help. I don't need another sleeping bag. Why can't I just stay in here? I wanna be changed. Let me come and all that remains is so bright. Oh, different, different, no different. Beef stew, raw meat, cooked bacon. Ooh, okay. Basil seeds, turnips, beef stew, potato seeds. Okay. Anything else? Antibiotics, cooked bacon. Okay. That looks like it goes down to the lake.
in the making.
Do you hear that?
From the dawn of history, a better way of life has been man's dream, man's goal. A better way of life
That's my alarm, sorry.
with freedom from the work, the worry,
Oh, I bet they had like this playing with it.
the tensions and insecurities of everyday existence.
I don't feel like listening to that. I wonder if I can move my campsite over here. Is that possible? Oh, that's raw meat crap. F. Okay. Eat. Why can't this go in here? Okay, it can. So that's good. Okay. We're running out of space, which is a problem. I thought you'd be able to, like, move it. Do you know how cool that would be if you could, like, move your campsite, you know? Veggie soup, peppermint tea, meat stew, cooked fish, cooked bacon, contaminated water. Okay. So we need to find a camp key. Water! Marina Beach. Okay, there's something over there, and then there's this thing. Let's check this place out first. Oh my goodness, you can go kayaking! Another fishing pool. Okay. That's it. What about the kayaks? Can we actually go kayaking? 'Cause that would be so cool. No? But let's go swimming. Ah, it's a nice day. Look it, I got stuff on my backpack. It's a nice day to swim in the lake. Do 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 do. Okay, now I am not gonna drink no water. Oh look, it's a cute little garden area. Ooh, yeah. Cabbage, carrots, potatoes, basil. Okay, this looks like a nice little place, and you can cook little stuff here. Wait, I like this place. This place is cute. Can I leave? This place is cute. Little plots for the greenhouse. What's in the building? A pro hatchet? Ooh. Fishing lure. Lure. Is there anything else? Interact. Ah. This is another crafting bench. Craft an arrow. Crafted arrowhead. Oh, is that what I need for those one things? Crafted pickaxe. Crafted quiver. I have a quiver. I just don't know how to use it or equip it. You would think it would attach to your holster, you know? But it don't. It won't attach there. A farm plot. Rainwater harvester. I need a tarp and a bucket. A wood crate. Wow. Okay, that's cool. I can get a bow. These are these are helpful things. Okay. Wait, this would be a cool spot to live. Why can't I move my place? I want to move my place. Do I have to recreate a whole thing here if I wanted to? Can I use my axe? Chop, chop, chop. Chop, 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 chop. Drop on the ground. Bed. Ooh, crap. Okay, let's I like this spot better than the other spot. Even though there's no light over here, but there is a crafting bench in here. So let's place. Destroy. Okay, well, I guess we're staying here now. Ooh. Oh, I need a pot again. I should have got my pot before I destroyed it. Okay, so bed. If I go back to my bed, can I pick my bed up, or do I have to find a new bed? There was a bed over there. I don't like the sounds in this game. Okay, we're going back in here. Because there was these things that I wanted to grab. So I think you can make something with them, like arrows and stuff. And then upstairs, I think there was another um, sleeping bag. Okay, so that's cool. Oh, nice. Okay, so now I can go this way. Whee! Let's go back to our little place now. I need to save the game again after I set down my bed. Me. Okay. So I have bed. I have crafting bench now. And I have this, which I can put sticks in. Okay. And then I can save my game again. Okay. So I have that. I have this. I even have this thing that I can put stuff in. So like maybe I should put some of my these things so I have more space in my cooler when we go out. You know? That might be cool. That might be a good thing. Okay. Let's do hopefully this doesn't like respawn or you know, like hopefully it's good. Attach. Okay, so I have that now. Exit. Resume. Okay, so now farm plot 4 wood. So if I want a crafting bench, this is to learn. I need to put stuff in here. Um, it says I have 2. Weird. Okay. Anyway, let's see. Open. Okay, we have cooked bacon. We can eat that. Maybe if I put this up here and then put this down here in my shorts, so we can have more room here. I'm just trying to figure out the best way for. Okay, I think that's good. Now, crafting wise, we need to make. We need to get wood. Didn't I drop wood down here? So can I use this to craft now? A crafted bed that provides recovery. So does this not provide recovery? Oh. Crafted arrowhead. Wait, can I smelt? Where's it at? Apparently not. Okay, so let's see. Hello. I need to learn how to craft a wooden crate. It says 6 out of 8 wood. So it says I need more? but it's not letting me pack that. Okay, so that gave me enough to be able to make a wooden crate. F, wooden crate. Crap. Okay. F, and then plate. Yay! I crafted something. I'm so excited. Okay. Open crate. F. Oh, yeah. So I can keep a lot of stuff in here. I can keep my wood. For now, I can keep my farmer's pouch. I can keep some water. Um, oh, I need that on, I guess. Okay, so we have that. Um, we need cloth. We need rock. We need rope. We probably need the battery. We probably need the compass. We'll keep the scrap metal and that. This I'm pretty sure is to make a like a like something later. I already learned everything here, so okay. I think we're good here. Um, we can probably drink something and up our food. Okay, so what else do I need to put in here for now? Do I need fishing? Um, I don't think I need fishing right now. I'm not like in the need for food, if that makes sense. This will be good if we can find something like to be able to use that with. Cloth is always good, and the other stuff is always good. So, I can put my cooked meat in here, but I don't want it to spoil. Oh, I can put these in there. And then I can put this in here. Because, cooler is more important to have for food. So, we got that, we got that. We got our beef stew. Um, Everything else I think we're fine for now. Okay, so exit, resume, open crate. So let's put these in here for now. We don't need the bone hook. What? Maybe a box of nails? I'll do it. Okay. You can label crate F. Nope. Okay. Okay, so we have that. I could always make another one too if I wanted to. So a harvester, we need a bucket and a tarp. We can make a bow. Crafted arrowhead. Crafted arrow. So we just need a crafted arrowhead. I don't know how to make a crafted arrowhead. Okay, so F. Oh, okay. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere, you guys. We're getting there. I do have to leave at like 6-ish for my church thingy, but I can play till then. So okay, I think we're good there. It's saying my frames are dropping. Why is it saying my frames are dropping? Are we good? Okay. Now, okay, now I think we should go. I want to learn how to make a plot, but I probably should put this water in here. Huh. More wood? Do I need a new one? F. Wood crate. Craft. Okay. F. And then let's do place. Okay. And we'll put the rest of the water and stuff in here. So F. We put water. I think that's good for now. I think we're good. So exit, resume. I'm nervous about keeping stuff in here. So just in case, I'm gonna move it to my crates. Because I don't want something to happen and then it reset and then I lose all my sticks and stuff that I have. So I'd rather keep those in my crates. Just in case, you never know. Better to be safe than sorry. You know. Okay, resume. Now, we save one more time. As I know I save a lot, but I just if the game crashes or something happens, I just want to make sure that I'm good, you know? Okay. So what do I need to make uh, this? What do I need? Okay, we're looking for buckets and tarps. Something for that we have to learn. There's a few things that we have to learn still that we do not have. So, okay, so This looks like a good little spot for a camp. And we can make little garden plots in here. I wonder if we can put them in there. That'd be cute. Okay, let's go see. I'm gonna keep this attached just in case. You know, you never know. This might be wildlife. Things might come and attack. You don't know. This is survival after all. I'm surprised we haven't been attacked yet. I think I spoke too soon. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Tent. A tent. To stop heavy bleeding. Guys, we got a tent. That's so exciting. Um, I don't think if there was even something here that I would want it, you know? um, other than in the actual locker itself. Splint. Another of that. Green cargo shorts. I think I like the white ones, but we can strip this. We can shred it. Or, whatchamacallit. So that's nice. Okay. Let's do. I think there's another bathroom. Oh no, I did both of them. Okay. I already looked at that. I haven't found any. Um, okay, we got a tent. That's exciting. Can we set the tent up too? That'd be cool. Place. We can put the fire in the tent. Is it too, I feel like it let me do it for like a second over here. I don't want to put it on the, oh, I guess we're putting it here. Ah. Wow, that means I have a whole bunch of room for stuff. On top of the other stuff. Wait, that's pretty cool though. That means I can literally like I could pack this place up, you know. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, so I can put like a lot of stuff in here. Like if I wanted to, I could pack this thing up if I wanted. So if I ever unalived, I would be good because everything's in here anyway. I'm so sad that you can't put that here, you know? Um that's actually really cool. Okay. Wow. That's kind of cool. So you have food. I need another pot though because I lost my pot. But like, let's just pick up a whole bunch of stuff then. Because I kind of don't want to go out and explore more until it turns daytime. I know it's either really early or getting nighttime. We gotta pick up our yard a little bit, you know? I got a lot of wood. That's a lot of wood. I don't know if I even need this much wood. We should probably just, you know, maybe keep that much wood. Because I would say we don't need. Can I. Can I put that here? Oh. Ooh. Okay. So we're good there. You made it to day 2. We hope you enjoyed playing our demo. Please tell a friend and wishlist us. The Gold River Project launches in early access January 23rd, 2026. There will be unlimited days and nights to learn, explore, and discover substation locations and types. Supplies and points of interest will be randomly changed with each new playthrough. Good luck, hikers. I didn't even get to play nothing. Look at that. There's like a barricade wall. That must be what they were talking about to try to get these down. See, there's a wham place. And it looks like there's armed people there. Oh man, there's so much to this game, guys, and we barely even played it. Play again. I already wishlisted, by the way. Man, well, that was it, guys. That was the the trip of a lifetime. It's only a demo, you guys. That's the sad thing. If you want the early access, it's $25. So feel free on my wish list. But yeah, you can play it with friends and all that stuff. I kind of want to look more into it, but I definitely want to buy the early access eventually. The demo is too short. I feel like it way too short, especially with my ADHD and just my brain. Like I'm taking it probably a lot slower than other people did. So it is what it is, though. Update Palia. How did Palia not update already? We got like an hour to play Palia, you guys. They have a new update, so we're gonna switch to Palia. Since I can't play no more of the Gold River, there's another survival game I want to play. It's another demo. Um, and it's surviving the winter, and you have to like be ahead of a storm or something. But I want to play it on a different game because I don't know how long it's gonna take, and I don't want to play it when I have to leave in like an hour. So we're gonna play some Palia. Why are my frames dropping? Are we good? I don't know what happened. It decided to go and then decide not to work. But I guess it works because we were switching games. Welcome back. We are going to be playing Palia now, so I did not unhook the computer cell. My computer just don't want to work. Um, it's updating Palia. It's at 64%. I wasn't expecting to playing Palia today, so I didn't know it needed updated. But the next survival game we want to try it again. It's another demo. It's called Long Drive North. It's a co-op RV simulator game, but you can play it by yourself. So we'll play that a different day. But like I said, I have like an hour before I have to leave for church. I'm a co-teacher, so we're kind of just waiting for this game to finish updating, which I need to print off the stuff for tonight. Oopsie. While we're waiting for the update, let me do that. I said only because the camera had the lightning bolt and the guy grabbing his hair saying no. Oh yeah, yeah. No, no, what? What happened? Okay, let's see. I need my AOL. I got to log in and print off because I'm a co-teacher for tonight, and I should have had the questions already answered. But last week we didn't split up into a group, so I don't know. I like it when we split off into groups. Better. I think it's better. Coming after me. You have every victory. Um, James, we're in James. We be in James today. Sweet. The pastor sends us a leader guide. James series, faith that lives what it believes. Who you are when recovery begins. Because I'm a co-teacher for a recovery addiction thing for church every Tuesday night. So I need to print this off, make 2 copies, one for me and one for my mom, and then we Gucci. I might try to get off like a little bit before 6. So that gives me enough time to answer the questions real quick. About blank. Well, I don't want it to be about blank. I would like you to work so I can print you off. And eventually the game will be updated and then we can go ahead and do that as well. Do I have to download it? It might be easier for me to download it. Everything just don't wanna work. Okay, so Palia is not, it's done updating, so why can't I open up this? Print. There we go. 2 copies. Um, Custom. Why is it doing that? Welcome back, Andrew. I'm trying to get this to work. The demo's over, by the way, Andrew. The demo. I was so focused on getting supplies, I didn't even get to play the game that much because the demo was over. I really want to buy it, you guys. It's on my wish list, the early access. Then you get the full game. That will be fun. Why is this not working? It's not printing. Guys, it drives me crazy because I like having it. And I can't. Oh well, whatever. We're gonna play some Palia. I'll figure out it later. I'll just have to answer questions. Okay, give me a second. The game's opening. Because we're switching games, I have to fix it real quick. Games, properties. Okay. Yeah, Palia did have an update, so I'm excited to go back and play it. But we can only play for like an hour because I have church. I'm a teacher, a leader for the addiction recovery thing at my church, so I'll be there. And I may go on the Tiki Talk tonight. Because I haven't been on for a while. Hopefully I'll feel better. I'll feel good enough. I'm trying to remember when I took 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. I think it was 12. I was out when I took my medicine, so I'm trying to remember when I was at Walmart with my mom. Yes, my coins I need for Hermes. Yeah. I know I haven't been on in a while. It's not my fault though. Health stuff happened. Music I need to turn on. There's a new patch. Okay. Let's go. Lockbox. Items put in a lockbox won't ever be pulled out for cooking or crafting. So beware. Be prepared. We have some quests we can do. A biggie questy quest. I'm excited. We get to go to a place. And we got lots of things. Dear Pokey, I just whipped up a new recipe. I think you're really gonna like it. Stop by the inn and I'll show you how berry pie is done. Okay, I gotta tell you guys something that happened. So I decided to play a little bit off a stream and I didn't mean to, but I got really upset with Reth because of something he said and I broke up with him and now we are maybe possibly um um talking to Neo now. But yeah, me and Ref broke up, so we are no longer in a relationship. Okay, because I forgot what he said, but it made me upset. So now we're with Neo. Um, he's breaking up with Kenyatta, so it's okay. Look how cute it is! It's a pillow. Oh my goodness, lots of things. Wow. Whoa. Oh whoa. 5. What is 5? Wow, that's a lot of ore. What is this? 2, 3. Oh Oh my good. Oh, I gotta show you guys so much stuff. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? I gotta put this in somewhere. Hold on. Where do I want to put this? You know what? I think we need a little step stool for our toilet, you know? So he can go there, and then, yeah, I want 3. Okay. No! I want him somewhere else. He can go there. That that's cute. Okay. Um did I have okay, so I moved stuff around because I extended my room. So let me show you. This is our dining room now and a little reading nook. So this is where you sit and eat and stuff. And then you go over here, we got our living room. And then this is the kitchen now. So we got our kitchen. And then we have a hallway with our bathroom and bedroom. And a little writing area, which is so cute. So, yeah, we have that now. I kind of want to put something there. Wait, I feel like I have the blue one somewhere already, right? Do I have the blue one? Yeah, there. So why do I need it again? Hold up, wait a minute. Let's do 4. Let's do that. I'm just these. Oh my goodness, so much. What? Thank you. Oh, maybe I can put some stuff here. Like I'm studying it or something. Oh. I think the rest I'm gonna sell. I mean, I could do one of each color. I just don't know where else I want to put stuff. Because I don't have this one yet. I mean, I can put that here. And then I think I don't have this one yet either. Um. Okay. So let's put this there. Put that there. We can put this in there, this in there, this in there, this in there. We can take this to the thing. No. And then, okay, so what all do we need to do? Do I need to make anything at the moment? Make sure I'm making some stuff. Let's do this. Here, let's do some of this. Here, let's repair. Here. Aww. I'll wait. I'll wait on these. I do have this stuff though that can go. And then this, I can do that. So that will be done when we come back. I don't make a potato seed. Whee! Okay. Minecraft, are you playing? You said something about me seeing something earlier. Correct? Or you just wanted me to do the main thing? The main storyline. The main quests. The questy quests. The quests that are questy. I have a few quests I need to do. I need to return to the gardener. And the main story, I need to return to Esh and then talk to Sabria. So let's do those. Let's do those things. Okay. So I have a dietitian appointment coming up soon. So I've been writing like um everything I eat so they can look at it. It's also my dad's birthday today. I gave him his gift earlier. Happy birthday to your dad. Thank you, Andrew. I need to put it in it's what I did with my mom last year, but like I want to put in my Discord under happy birthday. Because there's three people's birthday today. It's Jasmine's, Sarah's, and then my dad's. So it's like three people's birthdays today. Oh my goodness, that's so pretty. I'm a sucker for cute little wheelbarrows with little. Requires a lucky coin. What's three then? Oh, I got a cute little plushie. Okay, where's Ash? Okay. Why are there all these little mine things? What in the world is that? Chat.
You humans are ever so needy.
I found my chef. And you chose Reth? Well, for your sake, I hope he actually shows up. Well, then, I will need to make the proper arrangements for the ceremony. Once we're ready for you, I'll send a letter. Be sure not to miss it. My generosity only extends so far. Selma may be a small village, but it comes with no shortage of responsibilities. Every day, I thank the dragon that I am the magic. Yeah, so I chose Reth as my chef, even though I broke up with him. Okay. we're not gonna get into that. Let's just say that the village would look very, very different if my husband were the one in charge. Well, that's not very nice. What in the world? Meet Supriya. Hunger pains. Find out what the creature wants to eat. Actually, this probably. Probably. Okay, let's go to over there, right? Right? Okay. Um, hold on. Okay. Okay, let's go over to do this. This is one of our main quests. Main quests. The Night Sky Temple. Woo. Hopefully we can finish this quest within an hour. Okay. So symptomatic. Okay. Here we go. Are you guys ready? Locked. We will need to find another way around. There are a few things we know for sure about Cosmoflow, but in order to understand them, one must understand the nature of the flow itself. Well, it's a form of energy, right? A natural energy that comes from the flow realm. That is correct. There are two known realms. Wow, two known realms, you guys. Two known realms. What is about elementary? Discovered, wasn't it? Well, yes, but discoveries are rarely the result of sole geniuses. I heard you were invited by the royal palace to meet King Muddin. Was he really handsome as? I think that's enough questions for now. Written on the corner of the page is the letter bright red S. Bright red S. Bright red S. Hmm. 879. Upload. Ask, meet me privately. He wants me to make weapons. Ooh. Bright red question mark. So S question mark. S question. I feel like I need to go that way. But how? Some of the walls look fragile. Perhaps you can break a way through for us. I did try. Record number 1. Q. So QS question. QS question. QS question. QS question. I already did it. Can't I just hit this? Where's Microb when you need him? He usually does these pretty well. Day number 6, the cosmos catalyzing properties continues a space. Terraflow seems the most resistant to extreme change. Working on a new project with a pleasant natural carbonation. Letter is bright red 7. QS question mark 7. QS question mark 7. What does that mean? QS question mark 7. Ooh, I got loot. Break all the walls! Why not? This time it was Mudon V QS question mark V something. QS question mark. world ended. It turns happens in inches until salvation is too far to see the horizon anymore. One by one, my colleagues leave the lab. They all say the same thing. We should have never crossed the veil. It's not that I disagree, it's just that if I accept it, it's too late. I'll turn into one of them. I hope to save me from. The world is still fighting. The Empire of Valeria strongholds, Galdor and human repel the monsters everywhere, but they can barely touch the creatures from across the rift. Overseers have agreed, and the security measures installed. Funny thing, they didn't even know I existed before Vyra made the introductions. The corner and the bright red percentage. Ooh, okay. My mother used to tell me stories of the Phoenix. Aww, and through her fervent prayer and love, she was reborn again. A mother is proud, build humanity again. I can't even lay claim to defeating the abyss at this time. I'm afraid it will swallow us all. Oh, it's from Ara's Big Red J. Goodbye for now. You carry the flame of our people with you, and that will never go out. Remember that, children. We got this. We did it! Well, I did it. I did it! Fascinating. There is nothing in the records about this place. Gina and I pored over everything we could discover about the temples. There are blueprints for the other four and implications that the Night Sky Temple was intended to be nothing more than a repository retrofitted from the human university. What was the Cosmos Protocol hiding, and why did the ancient humans want to keep it a secret, even from their own people? Only one way to find out. Standing around here won't give us answers. I hope it's a giant mechanical crab. Well, I found these logs. You're quite observant, Pokey. Perhaps they will come in handy. There also appears to be a console ahead. Experience dictates we should check there as well. Okie dokie! Chat. Please enter password. Hint. I put the pieces of the password in the logbooks. I kept 7 in total. If you want what's kept past this glow wall, you'll better know exactly what you're asking for. Don't make our same mistakes. Hold up, wait a minute. We are gonna write down these logs. Hold up, wait a minute. Because we are smart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Q. So we need to write down Q. Q. Okay, so 1 is Q. 2 is S. 3 is 7. 4 is question mark. 5 is V. Percentage is 6. And then 7 is Ray. Okay. Now we can talk to this. Yes, I will enter the password correctly. Login. First character is Q. S. 7. Question mark. V. Percentage. J. Ready to submit. Submit! Password accepted. Welcome, RS. Ooh, it's RS. RS was here. Temple of the Cosmos. Online. Protocols. Please select the protocol to see the mirror protocol. Mirror protocol status. Lunar engaged. Tap connection engaged. Check tap connection. Checkness standby, please. Elderwood tap active. Ooh, mirror protocol. Disengage mirror protocol. Am I supposed to be doing these things? Protocols. Cosmos. Disengaged. Engage. Facility. Engage. Protocol. Disengage? It's not letting me do any of those messages. Admin 2. I know what you're doing, RS. Progress on the research I requested all has stalled. More supplies will be approved for your project since I see something change. Remember, this is for the security of Valeria. Either you are a patriot or you are a traitor. Know which side I would choose. Messages from Titus. Yo, found this address deep in the files while I was messing around with the gardener's flow walls. Is there really a 5th facility? How come none of us knew about it? What are you working on over there? From? Corrupted. Please contact administrator. Well, the administrator's not here. Titus again. Okay. Babe. Ooh. I'll delete your messages from my inbox. Sorry, just want to make sure you're fine and still, alive. We're locked up tight here over at the garden. Connection might drop at any moment. If it does, I'm coming to find you. Just be safe and keep trying to save the world, okay? Question mark. User logs. Engage mirror protocol. 0.5 days. Disable safe mode. 0.5 days. Is that it? Is that all? Any updates? Here's what I found. These notes are quite concerning, and I must admit, a little fascinating. The Order's records don't have anything of this depth about the end of humanity. I will take them to the moment to go over it on my own time. For now, we need to address the information you found on the console. Based on everything, it is reasonable to deduce that the Cosmos Protocol was involved in locking this place away and restricting access to the staff. The Mirror Protocol, meanwhile, is connected to the light show last night, and the beam we can clearly see emitting from that orb. Were there any mentions of other temples and possible locations? It said Elderwood Tap was active. A tap, but to what? I suppose the only way to find out is to visit this Elderwood ourselves. Allow me to drop the professionalism for a moment and address you candidly, Pokey. The mission we undertook together investigating the other temples was dangerous, yes, but you were already involved when I asked for your assistance. This, however, is not your responsibility to take on. You have done more than enough already in assisting me. If you choose to end your involvement with all of this now, I would understand completely. To miss out on all the fans, you need me. I want to protect Kalima too. I don't have much of a choice. What do I do? I want to protect Kilima too. Yes, I suppose I forgot that Kilima was your home. I am only a visitor to this village after all. Of course, you would want to keep it safe. Very well, I won't question you again. I need to inform my superiors from the order and leave Esh in on everything that's happened, which means I need to scout ahead in the Elderwood. Keep your senses sharp. We know very little about the situation in the forest, and it is better to be overly cautious than reckless. If you find yourself in any true danger, I will know and I will find you. Thanks. I should just be behind you anyways. I can't imagine this should take too long. Allow me to escort you to the exit before we part ways. Is that it? Something called a tap has activated in the Elderwood, and you're on a mission to investigate. Enter the Elderwood and keep an eye out for anything strange. Enter the Elderwood through the gate in the northern Bahari. I have hiccups. That's lovely.
Have a question every decision
I wonder
you've
what
ever made.
kind of applications
Huh? Just me,
Cosmoflow
huh?
might have and how they synthesized it.
Well, these books aren't gonna read themselves.
Please state your
I'm gonna
name.
sneeze. We shall remain on watch duty per Sabria's request.
Please come again.
I don't know what this is, but I want it. It looks cool. You know, you ever just see something and you're like, that looks cool, I want it. A vampire crab. I don't have any of these. I don't think. Chapa masala. I don't know where to get any of those. Apple pie, shepherd pie. Twenty apples. That's a lot of apples. I'm getting there. Okay. Next. Next. Return to village. Okay. Ooh. Okay. I like the fine, whatchamacallit. I. 'Call it. 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 'C I'm just trying to get to level 6 real quick. Level 6. Level 6. Level 6. Level 6. I think I'm almost there. No, I'm not. Forget about that. Forget about that. I have exquisitive everything, and then my bug catching is like level 3. That's crazy. Where's Reth at? Alright.
I guess I can take a little break.
I'm very into your cooking. Get it? But Drew taught me that one. Oh wait, I haven't shown you the new recipe yet? Get it now. Soon tofu. Blueberry pie. Shep's pie. That's what I need. I need to know Shep's pie, not your blueberry pie. Sir. Shep's pie is more important. And then I have a gift for you. I have, I forget what you want. Oh, this one? Wow, soup. Is it a food? Is it a drink? No one knows. But everything, either way, I'm a fan. So, you see those tattoos on my arms? They are cartel tracking runes. Wherever I go, they know. Which isn't usually a problem because I don't go anywhere.
Time to spiral into self-doubt.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay, real quick. I need to go here to the gardener. The gardener. Am I supposed to go to your house or something? I did the quest with Sabria, so now I have to go to the Elder Woods to find the tap. I did that. Gardener trying to take my oneness? Oh, no. Oh my goodness, I have cute things! Look how cute that is! Where do I want to put it? It's so cute. I like need it somewhere cute, you know? Like right there. That looks cute. And then number 3. Oh my goodness, I can have a cute little guy right there. And then what is this? Oh, what's that? Okay. Let's put you. Let's put you. Right there. I don't know why. But that looks like a good place. I've been gardening longer than he has been in the game. Another one! Another one bites the dust. And another one comes, and another one comes. Another one bites the dust. Better get to do another one bites the dust. I like how I just get to switch from the safe storage to general, and I don't have to go all the way over there. Fun things you will know. I can put all the stuff in here. And then... no! Whatever. Okay, 2. And then 6. So this is where I want my wedding stuff at. I think I want to put that there. Oh, maybe I can put him over here instead. That might be cuter because I have a lot of plushies on this side. Wait, so maybe I'll take this plushie and put him over there. Yeah. Put him on top of this. Yeah, okay. I need to water this and remember to water this. There's a few things I have to remember to water because I watered them or put them somewhere on the property and now I gotta remember. I can't believe I knew something that you didn't know, Mike Rob. That was crazy. I thought you knew about it. Okay. Sometimes, wow, it's a little place. You know what I should do? I should put like a cute little chair set back here. So it's like a little like, okay, I'm gonna rest and like just chill there, you know? Oh my goodness. Let's do that now before I forget. Because you know I'm gonna forget. Or move. Let's see. Okay. No, I don't want you. I want you. Okay, we need a cute little chair back there. Or like a stool with plants. That might be cute. We got this. I didn't make enough. Hmm. I got this. There we go. Okay. I think that will be nice. Industrial sink. Ooh. Okay. Now, let me go back to our little hidey spot. Do I have enough room for these? There's nothing here. What are you talking about? Something's in the way. Well, apparently you can't put nothing else back here, but I put a chair back there. And then I'm gonna put this here, so it's like almost like a little like, ooh, there's something back there, you know? Follow the candle. It's like, oh, path, follow the candle. Now you have chair, and you can just relax with behind the flowers, you know? I don't know. I thought it's a little secret. Only we know. Okay. Now, next. I probably need my other suit. Where did I put it? I had to do cooking. Be smart, Victoria. Okay, there. Now, we need to go... Oh yeah, see? Look. Minecraft, I even made a path that goes to the secret place that we can't get into. And it makes me so sad. Part of me is like, can I like climb up here and get over it, you know? Am I able to climb this thing and get over it? Is that even possible? Is there a spot over here that I can just climb it? There has to be a way! I just want to go over there. Is that too much to ask? Is it too much to ask? Fortnite style, build tall ramp on top, put bounce pad on top of it, and then glide. I don't even know if we have bounce pads here, sir. It looks so pretty. It's not fair. They better unlock it for you eventually. That makes me sad. Okay, let's go. I got like 15 minutes. About. Before I gotta get off. So I got a church recovery group thing that I'm a leader for. So I should be there. And then I'll probably be on the Tiki Talk later tonight. Why, Mike Rob? You gotta give them hope. Give them hope. Have hope, not give them hope. Have hope. Have hope that they will finish, not give them hope. Have hope. I don't know what I'm even talking about. Well, first of all, we're gonna go here first before we go to the Elderwood because. Did you see it disappear right in front of me? How rude. Wow. Northern mine shaft. Inspect. Dynamite. Can I put dynamite there? Can I just find dynamite or make dynamite and just leave it there and see what happens? That'd be pretty cool. Whee! let's go see the gardener. Up. That ties into the side quest. This? I know this is a side quest. I just wanted to go here first. Let me put down my weapon so the gardener doesn't think I'm hostile to him. You know. The mine with the dynamite box? Oh. Why do I have to keep on undoing this? That's annoying. Human, you are here. However, I have no desire to interact with you at this time. I thought you needed a friend right now. I've been worried about you. I thought living alone underground might suck. Fine, then I'm leaving. I thought you needed a friend right now. I've been worried about you. That is unexpected. I suppose I will entertain your presence a little longer. As it so happens, you may actually have some use to my current state. My Galdor making facilities have been incapacitated. I find myself experiencing a novel phenomenon that is rather difficult to define. I am lethargic yet restless, frustrated yet unmotivated. Is this what you humans call boredom? Lucky for you, I've got something for that. Do you expect me to express joy? Yeah, it would be nice. I thought you didn't like feelings. Honestly, I'm surprised you have emotions. Yeah, I expected as much. I shall now engage my standard emotional interface for human interaction. Oh, wow. This is so great. Look at that little so. I am so joyful. Can you tell how joyful I am? I am very much joyful. Now, bring your items to me so I may have a better look. This is soup. Am I supposed to eat this to feel better? Because I am sure you have noticed I do not have a mouth. I wanted to show you how to cook for people. This cooking does not suit me. All items I create must go through quality assurance, and I am not equipped with facilities to validate taste. So we begin the cycle of trial, error, and iteration. Show me the other item you have brought. A fish? Do you expect me to eat this? I thought you might want a pet. My purpose was to create Galdor and imbue them into their initial programming. I lack both the guidelines and the interest to care for a creature long term. There is no logical reason for me to participate in either of these activities, but your actions have made me put my reasonings to words, and I see now. My oneness must have been the act of creation. Yes, I think I would like to create something again. That is what I shall task you with, human. Find me a more suitable form of stimulus. The gardener didn't like fishing or cooking, but he came to the realization that he likes creative activities. Ask around for examples of creative things he could try. Talk to creative hard workers for oneness inspiration. Did you just refuse to chat with him? I didn't care about it. He told me to leave and do this, so I don't want to bother him as much as, he doesn't like me, so it is what it is. Okay, bye! Have a good day, sir! He has to earn my awesomeness. Okay, my friend? Just saying. If I have to earn his likeness, he has to earn mine back, so. Stay hydrated, folks. I feel like the only acceptable response to that is yes, queen. See, I know my worth. It's dark already? Hacian. Well, I don't feel like talking to Hacian right now. Let's go to the main objective quest. Wait, where's that at? There it is. That one. Okay. While we go that way, let's see if we can hit any of these, Yay! Sure you want to start the main objective right before you get off? You are right, Smycra. That's for another day. You are totally right. I think too much. Well, it's good thinking because, you know, I was about to start something I probably shouldn't have started. You know? Bahari Hideaway Bluffs. Bahari Hideaway Bluffs. I think way too fast for my own good self. But sometimes it's for the better. I bet if I click this, it's gonna say no. I knew it. Oh wait, I'm not going there yet. Where's the thing? Where's the sign? We're gonna ignore that. Next entrance. I understand. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna ignore that, and we're just gonna go over here. Ooh, get this real quick. I've been working on the railroad all the live long days. Hardaway Bluffs. Where's that at? Hardaway Bluffs. I got $6,000. There was a lot more action, and obviously I asked God to reveal a lot of stuff to me while watching it, and so He did. So I say it was good based off of that. There was one part I didn't like. I actually closed my eyes because there's a part that one of the natives, it's like a different native group, they're like more cannibalistic. She does this hand thing, like to like, while, one of the soldier guys, the main guys are, you know, off his wall basically, and she like shows her hand that has like an eye on it, and I did not like that part, so I just closed my eyes. Other than that, it was okay. But that was very, like, red flag for me. No, thank you. That's the person to talk to. Be good to the valley. Can you think of a new oneness for the Galdor? As someone who does not require food, there's no reason to go to hunting as a oneness. Be awakened at this hour. I make it difficult for me to rise with the dawn. Leave. Please leave. Wow.
You should be more
That scene
comfortable
where
with
the
yourself.
dude got all scary on the plane and the first or second one still stuck in my head. Ooh. Woof woof. Yawn a woof. Woof woof. Poe waits expectantly for a snack. You like creamy carrot soup? A roux. Do you like morels? Yay! He liked it! Bye! See you later. Have a good day. Um. He also would have liked any of that raw meat you had. He's picky sometimes. He likes carrots a lot of the time, but okay. Whee! Ooh. Breath and Gel started dating in your game yet? No, but I broke up with Breath, and now I'm with Neo, so I don't care about them. They can do what they want. Sir, I'm gonna flirt with everyone and their mother. That's why I broke up with him, guys. I don't take no cheaters. I deserve better, okay? I know my worth. And Ref? No. He might be good work ethic and cooking, but he ain't good as a boyfriend. So he won't be good as a mate. More like I'm gonna flirt with everyone and their brother. Yeah. Hmm. You know, I should just pick Neo from the start. I was thinking about it, but I didn't want to be between him and Kenyatta. But they've been having issues. He's gonna break up with her. He doesn't think it's gonna work out anyway, and his mom doesn't like her anyway. So you know. It is what it is. Let's fish this for the last thing we're gonna do. Could have just made it super weird and romanticized ENR. No, no. If I get with Neo, then I get to have Ormus as pets. Okay. Plus, Sugarfoot is so cute. What? Why did I do that? I forgot how to fish. Apparently. Why? Good job, Victoria. Whee! And it dumped green and why? That's crazy. Wow, it actually works now. It's driving me crazy that it wasn't working. You want a worm? I had worms. Why didn't I look at this earlier? And I have those. Okay, well then I'll give him a worm next time I see him, possibly. Serious case of the riffraff. Pinata needs help. Well, next time. Next time. Um. Next time. These people in this game are bad at keeping plans, right?
How's the day treating you?
If you need any help, all you have to do is ask. Do you think of a oneness or a Goldor? I don't purport knowing much about this oneness thing. I've been always found woodcutting pretty meditative. I even like whistling on nights I can't sleep. Uh,
Hmm.
it's funny, I find myself sharing a lot more with you than I do with others in these chats. It's not as if I don't have other friends. I mean, Ani and I have been close. I always have a good time with Sifu and Badru, but it's always you I spill my guts to. Make of that you will. Maybe it's just a nice to get an outsider's
You take care
perspective.
now.
Well, you're still calling me an outsider, so you know it is what it is. Okie dokie, let's find someone to raid if anyone's on. Let's see. Let's see who we can say hello to. And it would mean the world to me, you guys, if you stayed for the raid. Whoever we find. So let us see her. Um, let's see. Let us see. What do we have here? Thank you, Microb. Let's go. Who can we say hello to? My friend Kim and Jax is always fun. She's playing Minecraft. Let's see. Bing. Okay, this is the raid message. It makes you copy the entire text. Why? You can't just copy part of it? Interesting. Well, thank you guys for coming. I appreciate every single one of you guys. I love you guys. And I will see you next time. If you are watching and you want to watch me again and you're not following me, go ahead and give me a follow so you can come watch me again. I play a lot of various games and I would love to have you guys back. Let's go ahead and say hello to my lovely friend Kim and Jax. Love you guys. Bye.